Hello everybody, this video is brought to you by silver. Better than the $1 bill or any dollar bill, and definitely better than a savings account. Today I wanted to talk about socialism and what it truly is. I'm going to read you a definition, but then I'm going to go off the beaten path and tell you a really simple definition from the heart and mind of what it really is. Unfortunately, when looking up a definition of what liberalism is, we're forced to rely on the liberal controlled internet, liberal controlled websites. But fortunately enough, I found a few that I think really do, for once, are honest. I'm also going to talk about this news article here because it really plays into what liberalism is. Okay, folks, take a quick sip of water here. I'm going to read you a couple of definitions real quick. Very short definitions. And I chose two websites. Obviously, when you go to a doctor and he tells you there's something wrong with you, it's always good to get a second opinion, right? That's what I thought. Let's go here. Liberalism is a political and moral philosophy. Remember, this is Wikipedia. Liberal controlled. So we can make it sound really good. Liberalism is a political and moral philosophy based on liberty and equality. That word equality, just because they say they're going to make things equal, doesn't mean the people on the lower end of the spectrum raise up financially. No, in order to achieve equality, they need to raise everybody down. Remember, there's only a finite amount of resources on this planet, so everybody can't be rich, can they? So the only way to achieve equality is what? Bring everybody down. So you got to really look into the words that they're using. Liberals espouse a wide array of views depending on their understanding of these principles, but generally support civil rights, which they don't, democracy, which they don't. I mean, everything that our current president is doing, they know whether it is democratic or not. They know whether it's in the Constitution or not, but they still tie up the courts claiming it is immoral. Secularism, gender equality, obviously, and they'll make up genders too and make those equal too. Racial equality, internationalism. I want to say something about gender equality and racial equality. I too, as a conservative, believe in those equalities. But I think liberals utilize those as weapons of mass destruction. Internationalism, there's another key word. What is internationalism? What many liberals claim they're against, but they don't know, see? It's globalism. Internationalism is globalism. They just use the words differently here because most liberals are undereducated. Freedom of speech. Yet everything you say nowadays it's racial. You shouldn't be saying that's code word for racism. He blinked wrong. That's code for racism. It's code for anti-gays. It's freedom of the press. Of course they want freedom of the press, but they also want the right not to be criticized. That's what they're really saying there. Freedom of the press, meaning above reproach, above criticism, and freedom of religion. Liberalism became a distinct movement of the Age of Enlightenment. And remember what the Bible says about enlightenment. When people start thinking they're above God. Now, obviously, you can see You could see the rest and read up on it. You see the the website there on the top left corner. It's basically a moral philosophy, and it's based upon their understanding of the principles, which tells me it's very vague, and it lends itself to being manipulated and molded to what they see to be the proper fit. Now I'm going to go over to another definition: political doctrine that takes protecting and enhancing the freedom of the individual to the center. I'm sorry, let me read that again. Political doctrine that takes protecting and enhancing the freedom of the individual to be the central problem of politics. No, they utilize it as a weapon, but they can care less about enhancing the freedoms of anybody. After all, therefore making more regulations, which, what have I said in many videos? Regulations only affect law-abiding citizens. They don't affect criminals. So they see a problem with a criminal element, they make more rules, regulations, and laws. What does that do? It does not enhance the freedom of the individual. It does the very opposite. Political doctrine that takes protecting and enhancing the freedom of the individual to the central problem of politics. And I also believe they use that also as a weapon. Liberals typically believe that government is necessary to protect individuals from being harmed by others. So we're going to take your guns away. And just remember, when seconds count, guess what, folks? The police are only minutes away. They're there to protect you. Don't protect yourselves. Don't utilize your God-given right. It is government's job to protect you. You see? Take away your guns, and pretty soon they'll take away your knives. And like I said, when somebody kicks down the door, I always say this: when seconds count, the police are minutes away, if you're lucky. Liberals typically believe that government is necessary to protect individuals from being harmed by others. But they also recognize that government itself can pose a threat to liberty. There's another half of the sentence. They also recognize that government itself can pose a threat to liberty, but yet they are the ones that promote more government, larger government. As the revolutionary American pamphleteer Thomas Paine expressed it in Common Sense of 1776, government is at best a necessary evil. Laws, judges, police are needed to secure the individual's life and liberty, but their coerced power may be turned against them. The problem then is to devise a system that, and it goes on and on and on, of how we create the Bill of Rights and whatnot, the Constitution, and that's what's the bottom line is liberalism, and I'm going to go over this. Liberalism, what really is it? It is a way of maintaining power, keeping their power through the dumbing down of society, utilizing free stuff to entice people to be dumbed down and to keep voting in the people that are holding them as slaves. Liberalism then utilizes the blaming techniques, the blaming of others that have more to hide their oppression upon the people they oppress. What do I mean by this? Well, you should blame the rich people and these people and those people have fancier cars than you, and they have medical insurance, and they have this and that is, it's their fault. It's the rich people's fault of why you are kept down. No, you're kept down because you've been indoctrinated in their schooling. It keeps you dumbed down and docile. You are then enticed by free stuff. It is just crumbs, enough just to keep you living. And then they use envy as a tool. They use envy as a tool to blame others of why you are in your situation. Gavin Newsom pushes California budget hike, expanding education programs. I already told you this. They utilize indoctrination camps, schools. So obviously, every time they run for office, every time they get a chance, they want to expand education programs. Most people, they just do not decipher what they're reading. They want to expand education programs, and what did I say? Give you free stuff. Health care coverage for illegals. Remember, the illegals are here because, why? I've said it in many, many videos. The Democrat Party is dying. Less and less Americans are voting Democrat. Therefore, they are importing illegal aliens to be the new Democrat Party. In order to keep them on the dole, they're going to start giving them and offering them and enticing them with free stuff. Let's get back to expanding education programs. If you really take a look at that, what does it really say? Expanding indoctrination camps, government schools. That's what it really means. People, they naturally vote for their own gravedigger. Through word manipulation and word enticement, they'll vote for it. Oh yeah! Education programs, more education programs. Yeah, I want it. Then they got to go to school and get indoctrinated, and they don't even know they're getting indoctrinated. Let's listen to a minute of this guy here. Back this up a little bit.
Alternative to the corruption and the incompetence in the White House. Our government will be progressive, principled, and always on the side of the people.
New Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, not wasting any time, taking a swipe at the president today during his inaugural address. California's new governor, widely considered to be more progressive and more aggressive than his predecessor, Jerry Brown. Newsom already confirming that he intends to ask the White House for changes so the state can move toward a single-payer health care system in California, adding an even more contentious relationship between the president and the Golden State than we have seen so far in the past couple of years. Here's the president just last week.
I want to refresh this page. I'll replay this part.
Their great governors.
It didn't play quite as much as I wanted it to. Let it go from the beginning. There's a point I wanted to make.
We will offer an alternative to the corruption and the incompetence in the White House.
I want to cover that remark. The White House is not what caused the problem that California has right now. And I'll even go so far to say even the past presidents, and I did not like Obama, I don't believe he had much to do with the problems California is having right now. So why immediately the first words out of his mouth? Remember I told you, dumb them down, indoctrinate them, get them hooked onto you, just like drug dealers. Give them free stuff, get them hooked. And then when they're really unhappy, when their taxes are too high and some of them are leaving in the streets, you make an excuse up. It's somebody else's fault. It's those rich people, it's that people, it's that people. They're the reason why you're miserable. His first words out of his mouth is to blame Trump. Trump just got into office 2 years ago, folks. We got to all agree, whether you're left-leaning or right-leaning. By the way, I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. I've said this in many videos. But we got to agree that California's problems have been around far, far longer than Trump's been in office. So why his first words out of his mouth, like I told you earlier, are to point the blame to other people. I know half of LA is living in tents in the streets, is basically what he's saying. I know you're taxed so high you're leaving the states. And I promise you, I'm going to get even with those people in Washington, that bad Donald Trump. I'm going to do something about your lives the way they are right now. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to expand everything that's got you hooked to government. I'm going to expand indoctrination camps, also known as school. I'm going to give you free health care, and especially for you poor illegals, the new voters. I'll say it again, folks. We can read our government education and get their definition of what socialism is. But truly, socialism is a way for socialists, for socialism, for them to stay within power. How do they do it? They use drug dealing techniques. They give you free stuff, a little free coke, metaphorically. Here's a little free coke, here's a little bump, a little heroin. You come back and see me if you like that taste. They get them hooked, and boom. They're always coming back for you, the government, coming back and voting for you. They entice them by free stuff. Now, obviously, California Governor Gavin Newsom, who you just heard speak, obviously he hasn't taken a ride around LA. Obviously he hasn't seen the mega large tent camps downtown LA. Obviously, because I just read the definitions, and it's social and protection and well-being of individuals and citizens. Remember, the definition said we're here to protect them? No. This proves that those definitions are flat out lies. Governor Gavin Newsom proposed a $144 billion. What was Trump asking for the wall? Raise the one and carry over the one, and maybe a little under $6 billion. Gavin Newsom proposed a $144 billion budget this week. That will increase the state's overall spending, with a large cut going to educational indoctrination programs, healthcare incentives, free stuff for the illegals, expanding coverage for illegal immigrants. I already said that, but what he's not telling you also is an illegal so much as get a cut. Social Security, I can no longer ever work. I got a boo-boo. I got a boo-boo. I need Social Security. I didn't put into the system though, but I need Social Security. Or I need welfare, food stamps, free diapers, cell phones. What they do, I'm going to just say it one more time. I'm going to make one more point. They get people dumbed down, addicted to them, and eventually, because there's only a finite amount of stuff, everybody actually gets poorer. In order to hide what is being done to them by government, that government will then blame others. creates a division, a hatred. Now, hatred only works when it's going both ways. So for these poor people to hate rich peoples and corporations and you and I, legitimate taxpayers, they need to then project our hate backwards. And how do they do that? They force us, the taxpayers, through heavy taxation to pay for their stuff. Therefore, now the hate is going both directions. Division. Divide and conquer, folks. $144 billion. Trump only wants not even six lousy billion. Who's going to pay for that $144 billion? I ask this question because many of your hard-working taxpayers are leaving the state of California in droves. Who's going to pay for it after all your taxpayers, Mr. Gavin Newsom, have left your state? Will it be your actors and actresses that are only left? Your late night talk shows, the liberal talk shows, will they be taxed to death? Or will you go to our federal government for a bailout, forcing people in all the other states to pay for your mistakes? You folks have a great day, and remember to always stack some silver. It looks like we're all gonna need it, if you know what I mean. And remember, it's better than the dollar or a savings account. Take care, folks. And one more thing. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when I upload additional videos. Take care.